We are back in Algebra 1, Lesson 3-5. Mr. Sindell's been gone forever, but he's finally back. Today is November 29th, which is one day before Mr. Sindell's birthday. Hint, hint. All right, so let's come here. Let's get rid of this. Today is 11/29. Today is all about word problems, and we've been doing two-step inequality word problems. Our warm-up looked like this. It's doing these problems, setting up these problems, and solving these problems from a word problem. All right, so we have 4 examples to get through today, 3 and 4. Yep, that means 4 volunteers eventually. So who wants to volunteer first to read example 1? Andres, go for it. You have $100.
You have $100 to spend on U-Haul. The trip costs $20 plus $1 per mile. Let M represent the number of miles traveled. Write in inequality to determine how many miles you can travel for $100.
Perfect. All right, so there's our problem. This is actually a real problem. I don't know if you guys know this, but for a general U-Haul, I just looked this up online. It does cost roughly $20. It's like $19.99. I just rounded up to 20. And depending on the type of car that you get, it's either 60 cents a mile or $1 per mile. I just assume that we're going to do $1 per mile. Let's actually calculate. If you have a $100 bill and you don't have to pay for insurance or any of this gas stuff, how much or how far can you go with your U-Haul? So we need to set up our inequality. Anyone have an idea of where to start? I'm guessing there's going to be a lack of ideas just because it's our first example. Let Mr. Sindell help you. So if you have some total number, so if you're looking for a total, this $100 is our total, and I'm just going to label that total. This used to be what it was equal to. You do a bunch of equation stuff, and that is equal to $100. But now that we're in an inequality word problem, we're going to have some sort of inequality. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the 100. I'm going to put that on the right-hand side. All right, so I have a question for you guys. Between the $20 and the $1, which one of these is going to be attached to our variable m? Is it 1 times m or is it 20 times m? What do you guys think? Quiet raised hand. Is it 20 times m or 1 times m in our inequality? Only 2 people have ideas. Any other people want to volunteer? All right, Sergio, go for it.
1.
Why? Say it one more time.
It's the miles traveled.
So it's per mile right here, right? Yeah, so we know that m represents miles traveled, so it's 1 per mile, so it's 1m. So we know that we're going to have somewhere on the left-hand side, I don't care where I put it, I can just put it right there for now, 1 times m. If you see the word per, that means multiply. This guy, per means multiply. And in this case, we were multiplying by the variable m. And then we just have to fill in the rest of the equation. We have to somehow use this information that we haven't used yet. How are we going to build that into our equation? What should I write down here? Or it's not really an equation, it's an inequality. What should I write with this 1m? Any ideas? Somehow we have to use this $20. What am I going to do? You literally have to just read this in an equation. No dollar sign. Go for it, Fernando.
Plus 20.
Yeah, plus 20. Plus 20. And then normally we would have an equal sign here, but that is going to change. It's going to be an inequality. And for each of these, the hardest part about these is obviously setting up the equation and then figuring out, or setting up the inequality and figuring out if it's a less than or if it's a greater than. All right, so let's go ahead and think about this problem real quick. So if I have $100 to spend and this number on the right gets too big, then I won't be able to travel that far. That means that this side always needs to be smaller than this side. I'm going to back up and say that once again in a different phrase. Both of these sides represent the amount of money, but I only have $100. I can't go over $100 because I don't have anything more than $100. That means that this side always has to be smaller than this side. So what is our word for smaller when we're talking about an inequality, Monse? Less than 100. There it is. And I guess technically I could spend exactly 100. So how could I improve that answer? Less than or equal to, yeah. Because I could spend exactly $100. All right, that is the hardest part about these problems, setting up that inequality. And now it's asking, what is the maximum number of miles I can travel for $100? So solve this thing for m, what can I have? All right, so let's go ahead and rewrite our inequality. We have, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it like this. Just m plus 20 is less than or equal to 100. And I need to back up and start giving people XP because otherwise I'm going to forget all these, huh? Ooh, it's going to take a while for me to set that up. You guys are going to have to remind me at the end of the lesson who got XP. All right, so what am I going to do to both sides to solve this inequality? Jose, go for it.
Minus 20 on both sides.
Minus 20 on both sides. Minus 20, and what do you get? 80 on the right-hand side. What do you get on the left-hand side? M, because those 20s cancel out. And what sign do I still have? Less than or equal to 80. There it is. And there's our final answer. Let's come here and box our final answer. There it is. So I can drive under 80 miles, but I can't drive over 80 miles. M is less than 80. Less than or equal to 80. If I drive any more than that, then I can't pay for it. All right, these are hard. I know they are, but you guys keep sticking with it. Let's try another one. Example 2. I need someone to read. Quiet raised hand. Who wants to read?
I will.
Go for it, Gunner.
Every day, Morgan looks for seashells. Morgan has 32 shells so far. Morgan finds 15 shells each day. By an inequality, determine the number of days D will take Morgan to collect over 200 shells.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. And since I have this guy up here, I can give Gunner your XP right now. I know that Andres read. I know that Fernando participated. I know that Sergio participated. Who am I? Monse participated, and Jose participated. And Monse. Is there anyone else that I'm forgetting? All right. Perfect. So this one is going to be a little bit different because not only are we going to write our inequality, solve our inequality, but now we are also going to graph the inequality on our number line down here. All right, so what information do I have? Do I have some total, some big number, some big total number that I can put on the right-hand side? It's usually the biggest number that you want to put on that right-hand side. Jose has an idea. I'd like to call on someone new if possible. All right, Jose, I'll give it to you. 200, yeah. So our biggest number here was 200. Generally, that's true. It's not always true, but that's a good little hint. Biggest number is usually going to be the number on the right. So we're going to write 200 on the right. All right, one of these numbers is going to be, so I have two numbers left, right? I have 15. I should do this in a different color. I have 15 and I have 32. One of those numbers is going to be multiplied by our variable d. Can we figure out which of those numbers it is? Gunnar has an idea. Want to wait for other people to think? What number is going to be multiplied by d? Is it 15d, 32d? Which one makes sense? And read it. Shells so far, shells each day. Which of those makes sense? Yeah, there's more hands. Jennifer, go for it.
15.
15. Why? Yeah, each day. So that's the key part here. So each day, whenever you see the word each means multiply. So it's going to be 15 times d, as Jennifer said. Thank you, Jennifer. And I basically have to do the same thing that I did in the last problem. I'm either going to be adding or subtracting this 32. Which one is it? Is it adding or subtracting the 32? Fernando has an idea, but who else has an idea? I need more hands. Más manos, por favor. All right, I still only see 2 hands, 3 hands. Andres, go for it.
You're gonna have to add.
Add 32 like that. I don't know, what do you guys think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you adding? Thumbs in the middle if you don't know. I only see thumbs in the middle and thumbs up, and you are correct. You're adding 32 because you have an additional 32 shells. 32 shells plus your 15 per day. Yeah, so Cohen is gone, so make sure not to give him the thumbs. But everyone got 10 XP for doing thumbs, and Andres, you just got 50 XP for participating. Thank you very much. All right, and our last part is this going to be a less than? Is it going to be a greater than? What inequality symbol goes here? And we really need to think about the problem. We want to collect over 200. So which side should be bigger, the 200 or this side? I need to collect over 200. I see 3 hands so far. Oh, man. I'm loving all these hands. Gunnar, go for it.
Bigger side is 15 should be 15 plus 32.
So that side is bigger, so it should be a greater than or a less than?
Greater than.
Greater than. And is it a greater than or equal to, or just a greater than? Greater than or equal to, like that? All right. So you're really, really close. Everything you said aside from that last part was correct. And let me, well, maybe someone else can explain why. Fernando, go for it.
It's just greater than because it's a collective over.
Yeah. So if it said at least 200, then it would be greater than or equal to. And let me write that note on the side. Over means greater than or equal to. At least means just, oh, I'm going backwards here, sorry. Over is strictly greater than, and at least is, why does it do that? And at least is greater than or equal to. So those are your different words that you're looking for. Yeah, but Gunnar, you had great logic here. This side needs to be bigger because this side needs to be over 200. I need to collect over 200. All right, so I need to solve this inequality. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this now. 15d plus 32 is strictly greater than 200. What am I going to do to solve for both sides? And Fernando, 50, and you also did a student error, and Gunnar, you are right there. You had some great answers, thank you. What's the first step? I'm going to cold call on people that haven't participated yet because you should know this. This is review. If you have not participated yet, I'm going to call on you, or you can raise your hand if you want to. Specifically, I'm looking for Julian, Jessica, Eder, or Josie. Those 4 have not participated yet. Jessica, go for it. Subtract 32 on both sides, and what do you get? 15d, is that what you said? You're good so far if you said 15d. And you can call in Julian's help if you want help on that right-hand side, or you got it. 60. Say it again. Give her time, guys. And I don't. You want to give it to Julian?
Yeah.
You got 168, Julian. And Julian, did you have a greater than or a less than? Which symbol did you have? A greater than. Yeah, it doesn't change. We did not multiply or divide by negative. Thank you, Julian. And thank you, Jessica. You both got your XP. Julian, 50, Jessica, 50. And that means I'm going to either call on Eder or Josie. One of you two is going to tell me how to finally do the last step to solve this guy. Who's it going to be? Josie, ask for help for Andres if you need it. Unless you got it. Who's it going to be, Eder or Josie? Divide by 15 on both sides. Thank you, Josie. That means, Eder, you're eventually coming up. Maybe not quite next. I want to make sure I give you one that you know how to do. When I divide by 15 on both sides, that 15 goes away. I'm left with D. And on this side, I have some number over here. All right. And 168 obviously does not evenly divide by 15. I'm going to use my common sense here to try to figure out what's going on. So I know that, here's my scratch work on the side, guys. 150 divided by 15 is equal to 10. We can all nod our heads. Yeah, that's pretty easy. If I add on another multiple of 15, I get 165 divided by 15, which is equal to 11. 165 and 168 are really, really close together, which means that this reduces to 11 and 3/15. So 11 and 3/15, if I were to graph that, it's going to be somewhere in this area right here. You guys need to tell me, is it going to be an open or a closed point? And this can be anyone. Open or a closed point? Sergio?
Open.
Open. And my open point is going to be right here. I can draw it actually above the line, it's fine. You can draw it on the line or above the line, I don't care. And then I'm giving this one to Eder. Is it going to be going to the left or the right? And I'm going to reread this for you. D is greater than 11 and 3/15.
Right.
Right? Do you guys agree? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Is it to the right or to the left? Right is what we were saying right now. All right, it is to the right. My line goes like this. All right. Thank you, Eder. And thank you, everyone, for doing thumbs. We're on the back. And how much time do we have? Because we started late. Today is Thursday schedule, which means we have 19 minutes left. Okay, this is our hardest example. Let's go ahead and try to do this. Quiet, raise hand. Who wants to read? It's a large one. We'll increase the bounty, double the XP. Yeah, Fernando, go for it.
No. Okay.
Avery?
Avery is in an elevator with other people, but the elevator won't move. The weight limit for the elevator is 900 kilograms, but the current group of the passenger weighs a total of 1,200 kilograms. Avery is trying to figure out how many 80 kilograms passengers need to get off the elevator. Left can represent the number of excess passengers. Right in inequality to determine the numbers of passengers who need to get off the elevator to meet the weight requirement.
Yeah, that was a lot. You want to read that second paragraph too, so we just know what's going on?
What is the minimum whole number of passengers who need to get off the elevator to meet the weight requirement?
Perfect, yeah, thank you. That's not you. All right. So, the same procedure again. The largest number is usually going to be the one that's going on the right, and that is the same case here. It's going to be the same case in almost every single problem, aside from example number 4. Actually, example number 4 is kind of the same too, actually. So, example 3. What number am I going to write on the right-hand side? Jose. 1,200, there it is. 1,200. You don't really need the comma there. I just did that for the sake of reading. Thank you, Jose. All right. And I need to figure out which of these is being multiplied by number. It's either the 900 or the 80. So it's either the, just going to underline these in colors, green and yellow. We've already used the blue. All right. Which of these is going to be multiplied by P? Only Andres, Fernando, and Jose knows. Andres, which one is it?
900.
900 times P? Why?
Because if it would be 80, wouldn't that be the number that you're trying to figure out? Like, because it says Avery's trying to figure out how many 80 kilogram passengers need to get up there.
So you're close, but that doesn't necessarily mean that 900 is going to be multiplied by P. Yeah, I'm not sure how to correct that to make us learn better. Maybe someone else can help us out better. Yeah, Sergio, you want to go for it?
So it's 80 because it's how many people need to get off.
Well, that's the same exact answer that Andres gave. Can you, aside from the fact that it's correct, the 80, but the explanation is almost the same exact explanation. Can you try to explain it in a different way? No? Fernando, can you help us out also? I'm still going to give you your XP.
It's 80 because it says the pass with the. It's 80 because it's the number of passengers need to get off the elevator, and then P represents the number of exits.
Yeah, and that's a better explanation. So this 80 talks about passengers. P represents passengers. 80 passengers means 80 times P. I know that P represents excess passengers, and maybe that was confusing us, but that is going to be solved by the fact that we're adding on 900. Therefore, P will represent the number of excess passengers. So this is going to be 80P. And then I need to give XP for everyone that did that. So Andres, Fernando, and Sergio. Why does it do that? All right. And I need two more parts. What am I going to add or subtract to this equation? Quiet raised hand. What am I going to do? I still haven't used this 900 yet. Am I going to add or subtract that 900? Jose, go for it. Add 900. There it is. Thank you. And now I need to figure out which of these sides should be bigger. This represents how many passengers are currently on the elevator, and this represents the maximum load. So which side should be bigger? Gunnar, go for it.
The maximum load 900.
Yeah, so that is the weight limit is 900. I agree.
Yeah, it would be less than and on 1,200.
So are you saying this symbol like this? Yeah, so this side, let me see if that makes sense too. I need to verify in my head. So this side represents how many people there are currently on. So I need to, this is what happens when you're sick and you try to teach. That side needs to be less. I think we've made a tiny mistake. No, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it needs to be less than. I don't know why that took me so long. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. 80p plus 900 is less than 1,200. We need people to get off the elevator. This side needs to be less than this side so that people start getting off. We need to be under that 1,200. What am I going to do to both sides? Let's do this rapid fire. Andres, go.
Minus 900 on both sides.
Minus 900 on both sides. Minus 900 on both sides. Mr. Sindel will solve that for you. 80p, those cancel out, is less than or equal to 300. And finally, what am I going to do to both sides? Quiet raised hand. Andres got his XP. Sergio, go for it.
Divided by 80.
Divide by 80 on both sides. Divide by 80. Divide by 80. So that means that P needs to be less than 300 divided by 80, which is the same thing as 30 divided by 8. I'm just reducing this fraction, so this is what I'm doing in my head. I'll show you my work. 300 divided by 80 is the same thing as 30 divided by 8, which is the same thing as 15. I'm dividing the top and bottom by 2 now. 15 divided by 4. And I'm just going to leave it. We need to actually treat this as a decimal because we need to see how many people are actually getting off. So 15 divided by 4, I can tell you very quickly that that is 3.75. So P needs to be less than or equal to 3.75. Oh man, now that I'm thinking about this, I think this inequality sign might be wrong because we need to say we need at least 4 people to get off. That means that this side needs to be bigger. So I apologize for that. Can we switch these signs? Because we want P to be bigger because P represents the number of people that we want to get off. If P is less than 3.75, then P would be equal to 3. We need P to be greater than 3.75 because we need at least 4 people to get off. I apologize for that, guys. So that's incorrect. It should be a greater than. That's incorrect. Should be greater than. That's incorrect. Should be greater than. That's incorrect. It should be greater than. P needs to be greater than 3.75. The next biggest number than 3.75, whole number of people, babies are still count as one person, is 4. So P needs to be greater than 4. The answer is 4. 4 people need to get off the elevator so it can move. All right, I wish I had more time to explain why that's the case. Let's go ahead and run through example 4 really quickly. I'm going to do this one for us because we're so low on time. 5 times a number x subtracted from 20 is less than negative 80. We need to write that inequality. So 5 times a number. 5 times the number x. I'm just going to write that down. 5 times the number x. I can't speak. 5 times the number x. 5 times x. I'm going to subtract that from 120. That means something from 120 or from 20. That's something from 20 means this is from 20. 20 goes first. From 20 means 20 goes first. 20 minus 5x, and that needs to be less than negative 80. Less than negative 80. Mr. Sindel will also solve this one. 20 minus 5x is less than negative 80. I'm going to pause right here to make sure that everyone is at least caught up. If you want to take a break because you're already caught up, you can look at how heavily it's snowing outside. Hopefully we do not get trapped here, although I did bring my sleeping bag. All right. Now that we have all caught up because I see no one is writing, I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides minus 20 from both sides. That gives me nothing right there. Minus 5x is less than negative 100. And I need to divide both those sides by negative 5. Negative 5, negative 5. Whenever I divide by negative 5, what special thing happens? Shout it out. It turns into a positive. I agree. So this is now a positive number on the right. What else happens? You got it, Monse. Yeah, so the sign flipped. So I have x here. It used to be less than. It is now a greater than. And Monse also got the other part, which is a negative divided by negative is a positive 20, which means x needs to be greater than 20. Box it. Final answer. All right. That concludes the notes. Go ahead and write down a few key words that you learned. Maybe you learned that you should always be putting the bigger number on the right-hand side. Maybe you learned that each means multiply. Maybe you learned that per means multiply. Whatever it was, write down something quick for the summary. That concludes the notes.